Yes.
You can do a burger holiday just by going to unique McDonald's in America.
Tell me.
And there's a lot of them. Start off in Chicago, go down Route 66 out
Yes.
of there, right? So you could go to the futuristic McDonald's. So it's all done like in the
It's
the
like
future.
George Jetson.
Yeah. In New York City, they have the musical. So they have a grand piano
Oh my gosh.
in it. So for Broadway and stuff. Sedona, Arizona is
Yes.
the turquoise one. So even the arches are done in turquoise.
Oh,
So they
how
get a
cool.
special permit for doing that. In Hyde Park, New York. Now, Hyde Park is like lots
Fancy.
of money, right?
Yes.
They have what they call the landmark. There was a Georgia mansion on the property built in 1795, and they kept it and they converted it into a McDonald's. So from the outside, it looks just like the Georgia, just like it always has. Okay. And there's another one in Freeport, Maine.
Yeah.
Okay. With a Greek style
Yes.
mansion built in 1850 called and that's the mansion one.
So that's you've made your way down and around.
Yeah. And then for the kiddies, you go to Dallas.
Yes.
Okay. And the Happy Meal. So they have a whole restaurant that the outside looks like a box that they make a Happy Meal in.
Still a man, old fat baby back blues.
Gdayall, and welcome to episode 35, Hamburgers. You see, now we're doing it because May 28th is National Hamburger Day, but not only that, May is Hamburger Month.
And it's also Barbara's birthday month.
That's right.
So it's birthday and burgers.
That's right. It's the best month of the year, I think, personally. Now, Phil, toasted or not toasted for hamburger buns?
Well, it depends on the burger.
Right.
So if it's, most of them is toasted, but
Yeah.
there is one that cannot be toasted.
Which
because
is?
it's steamed.
Oh.
And
Tell me.
The Great White Castle burger.
Oh, yes.
That's why the little holes are in the
in the
things
meat.
that they call meat. Yeah.
Yes, I like, and I read a little bit, which we'll talk about at Five Guys, because their buns, which are toasted, look like a car accident by the end of. They're all squishy and sort of pull apart because they're like more buttery and brioche sort of things. So they look terrible.
They just don't flatten them out with the spatula on the
No,
grill.
they just put it in your fingers, sort of tear them half apart. But they're very good. Now, before we get into it too far, we just have to talk about, as we've said in the last few weeks, we've changed.
So if people have been listening,
Yes,
they should know we
they've
don't
done
have to
their
go
homework.
again, right? And the smile,
It's a secret
like,
word.
the secret word is smile for the whole month of May. We're still in May, right?
We are still in May.
Okay, and so that's smile. I'm smiling.
I'm smiling too. Do you know every time the last 3 weeks we've said smile, I have flashbacks to orthodontics bills? Maybe that's why I just can't say it without sort of pausing.
Yes. And then also,
yes.
we are slipping that little special in there.
Yep.
And just recently we slipped a special in there, and all the people listening to our podcast got 10% extra off of chocolates.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, chocolate is very important with with happiness and joy, and 10% off means you can get
an
so much
additional
more.
10%. Yes.
That is right. And also, we'll say it again, but I'll say it now.
Say it again.
Say it again, Sam. We'd love to hear from you, and you can send us an email at podcast@usafoods.com.au.
Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Hamburgers.
Burgers.
Well, it's just an American classic, and we're going to talk about why Americans love hamburgers so much. Favorite places to get them. I'm sure we'll have different experiences. East Coast, West Coast hits again. Yeah. And what we think makes a good one.
Because everybody thinks differently.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. And we've got a few things to talk about. So you hit me with this one.
Oh, what? The fun fact number one?
Fun fact number one, please.
50 billion hamburgers are eaten each year in the U.S.
50. No wonder there's
50 billion.
That's a
no wonder why Jenny Craig is pretty good,
I was trying to think of a more diplomatic way to say that, but yes, do you know, I was researching the show and you had been, but Brenda and I were talking about it. We've had hamburgers twice this week. Mm-hmm. So we're working through our per capita if we're at home.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about the soldiers, World War II soldiers again. No Thomas Jefferson this week, but back to the GIs. They, were able through their ration packs and through the cooks to take hamburgers with them when they were overseas because it helped with the homesickness.
But how popular was hamburgers during WW2.
They've been popular since the 20s.
The 20s, because it came over from the World's Fair in Germany. In
That's
Hamburg.
right.
Yeah, Hamburg meaning.
Yeah, and the hamburger, so Hamburg steak, and so on. So that was another thing. So, they got ice cream, they've got chocolate, they've got hamburgers. We were looking after the boys.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think so.
And so now we're going to go to our Jeopardy question.
Yes, I'll be
Devoted
Alex.
to Alex.
I'll be Alex. Go ahead. Now, do you want to take?
I'll take celebrities and burgers for 400.
Certainly, Phil. Where was Paris Hilton headed to when she was busted for a DUI?
Well, I know it has to do with hamburgers.
Could be,
So
yes.
it's probably would you be going for a good one or a cheap one?
Are you allowed to ask Alex questions? I don't think
Yes,
so.
I could, but I got to think this over in my mind. But DUI, where would you be going? Well,
when you're really drunk, what do you want?
Well, if she was in New York, it'd be White Castle.
Right.
Okay, and she was anywhere else, it'd probably go down to McDonald's.
She was on her way to In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. She was
Yes,
in California.
She was in California, and she got busted on the way. She could have been safe, sort of, I don't even think she has any naughty tapes around.
So they did the
reputation
DUI test while she was in the drive-through line? Yeah.
She didn't get that far. Now, and later on, we are going to talk about how our many listeners' favorite hamburger, how to make it, which is In-N-Out. What does everyone ask us in the shop?
Well, you tell them how to make an In-N-Out.
Yes.
Okay, and I'll tell them how to make a White Castle.
White Castle, that's right. Because we have friends and their little children go, when are we going to go to have hamburgers? We do a big one. So we will be back with some more information after the break.
Where's the beef? I had to get that out.
We did, and we're back.
Beat you to it.
You did. That's not fair. We spent our whole high
Where's the
school
beef?
saying that.
Clara, that's her name.
Clara, that's right. And it was a Wendy's ad.
They did a bunch of them. Yeah.
It was so good. She was magic. Now, the reason we're saying where's the beef, we're talking about the love of hamburgers in the U.S. And it goes back, there's a historical sort of reason for this.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much land in the U.S. that we're able to graze cattle. So there is a lot more beef available for our group of people that like eating 50 billion a year.
So the little things are coming back to me, rawhide,
That's right. Cowboys.
Yeah, cowboys. Yeah.
Oh, JR. So looking at it, Christopher Columbus actually brought over cattle. And we had bison and things. But when immigrants came over to the U.S., they were surprised that people were eating meat every day because it was...
Yeah, you never...
No, that's right. So... And it's actually became ground beef is a budget meal. So, all of us have been poor and you sit there and get a pound of ground beef and see how far you can stretch it.
And also for our Australian listeners.
Yes.
Minced meat. That's ground beef.
Or hamburger meat or whatever it is.
Did you have in California the ground round?
Yes. We did have ground round.
The ground round. That was one of the first places that gave you peanuts. Remember they had the peanuts on the tables and you threw the shells on the floor?
No, I don't remember that. I remember here there was a place, but at Five Guys, I got to think of.
Yeah, Five Guys. I don't think they'll do that here when they come here. It's pretty against some type of regulation. And then peanuts here cost a fortune.
Yeah, they don't want people to die that are anaphylaxis.
They don't have an ex-prime minister that used to be a peanut farmer.
No. Okay. Now, is it time for your vent yet, Phil? Or are we
going
to wait?
No,
okay. So,
you might get off without a vent today. I already vented before.
I don't think so. I have a feeling it's coming. Now, ground beef is the most widely consumed beef product among American consumers. 40% to 45% of the beef consumed is ground beef, and when it's prepared for meals at home, ground beef is used 60% of the time. So
because it's more than just hamburger meat.
No, that's right.
You got Salisbury steak,
and you've got
which is a glorified hamburger.
That is exactly right. And you've got hamburger helper, and you've got spaghetti, and you've got. Or the thing that I make,
meatballs,
which we call slop, which is just rice and beef.
SOS.
And, that's right.
I was talking about the WW2.
That is all it. Yeah. So that's sort of and it comes back to being a comfort food as well. So we grew up on it, and you go back to it. And again, origins of it kind of came down to hamburgers themselves, to the food cart, and to industrialization of the US.
Because they had to do, what do we do with all this meat that we can't sell?
That's right.
Grind it all up and sell to somebody else.
And I
Right.
need to have a quick lunch break when I work my 45-hour day
Yeah.
with no breaks, so that you can make a meal out of the hamburger. So you've got your veggies, you've got your beef, and you've got your bun. You can put it in your hand, walk in.
Well, it just reminds me of like the good old days. You remember, when your mother told you to clean up after you ate, take your plates and all that
Yeah.
to the. So now it's like you tell your kids, okay, could you clean up after we eat dinner? And then that means to take all the wrappers and everything out of the back seat of the car.
Yes, that is true. Or can you put your Uber Eats bag in the recycling bin?
Yes.
Yes, that is the old days. And hamburgers also became fair and concession food. So, you go to some place, there'll be
It's
a hamburger
fast,
for it.
quick, easy. You could walk with it.
Yep.
It's sort of like being, if it wasn't on a stick, it'd be at the Texas State Fair.
That's exactly right. And I suppose it's sort of like a British pasty. So, like the miners used to have
Yes.
those. So, similar thing for us. And so it was a regular thing. Then restaurants sort of came along and burger joints.
Mhm.
So, we're kind of going through a history of burger joints. Now, the first one, which is, I think, the first recorded sort of hamburger place.
Right.
You are very familiar with. I have never had the pleasure.
White Castles.
So you tell
Started
us-
in 1921.
Yes.
I remember my father.
1921?
1921. No, I remember my father going out to Roosevelt Raceway in Long Island, and we lived in Brooklyn.
Yep.
And on the way home, because the track ended, well, depended upon when he ran. Either if he came home late, it was a good night. If he came home early, well, okay. But we used to hound them to bring home White Castles on the way home.
Yeah.
So he used to bring them home, and they were just so tasty. And I think they were 11 cents each at the time.
Oh, wow. And
But
it's like a whole bag of sliders.
It's like a
isn't
whole
it?
bag of sliders, yeah. And the sliders term, there's a lot of definitions to how it came out,
Right.
right? So it slides in, slides out is one of them. That's the most common one, I think. But it was something that been popularized from John Travolta and Saturday Night Fever. They went there to the one in Bay Ridge, which is no longer there. As you go onto almost like the entrance onto the Verrazano Bridge, and that was on 92nd Street, and I think 3rd Avenue or 4th Avenue. So that was in Brooklyn. That was famous then, and then you had the two Indian fellows. They go to White Castles. Yeah.
Yes, we will look it up.
So it's been in a lot of other shows also. Very sterile type environment. You go into, everything is white.
Yep.
Bright lights. Everything was done in stainless steel, all behind the counter. So very sterile for a little hamburger. And it was a little hamburger. It's like if you look at a regular size hamburger of McDonald's, cut that in take about 30% off of that.
And then that's what you get. Well, is
And
that
they
why?
were square.
And they said that's why they're sold in a sack. So
Yeah.
you get a whole bunch of them, a sack full.
Well, because they were square. So the meat is square with 5 holes in it. Looks like a 5 of diamonds, or something. Had 5 holes punched into it, and there's a reason for that.
Yes.
Okay. And then because they're square, they fit into these little boxes. So they put them into the little box, and they put 2 boxes together, and then they stack up into the bag very neatly.
That sounds. I would love to try one. No, none of them have been near us. And when I was talking to my mom about it the other day, she goes, "I keep seeing them in the freezer section because now you can buy frozen ones."
Right.
She goes, "I've had the box in my hand, but I'm just not sure how it's going to work." Could you just do it?
And they
for
come
me?
out very good, the frozen ones, because
we'll tell
the
her
only thing
that.
missing on it is the cheese. So you have to put your own cheese and pickle, I think, on it. But because they are steamed, and that's what the 5 holes are for. Okay, so because they are steamed, when you put them in the microwave, it steams them again.
Beautiful.
And
So
they come
that
out
makes
just
sense.
like they should.
And we do have customers, because I've answered this a few times, asking if we can bring them over.
Yes.
This meat we can't bring.
Yeah, I know. It's like
Unless
going through an act of Congress. Well, the DAF, Department of Agriculture. Here's my gripe of the day.
Oh, here we go. I knew there would be one.
So the DAF, right,
Yes.
Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, over here,
Mhm.
okay, really prevents beef coming in from the U.S. because they still have the criteria of mad cow disease 30 years ago that
Right.
is still, they might, and the U.S. never had it Okay.
Right.
But it was marked that, oh, you got it. So to protect their own industry over here and whatever, and to make them, and they were forever, for the last 10 years, I've been hearing all the rumors, oh, it's going to be amended, it's going to be changed and all that. So when, here's my gripe. So they don't want to change it. So when China comes in and wants to take over Darwin, okay,
Yes.
and they said, well, hey, could somebody help us? No, well, we're not fighting for the Queen anymore. So Britain's out. And the U.S., well, we already been there with MacArthur. So, and you don't want to bring our meat in? Maybe we'll think about it.
You did, the long bow was stretched and you just went
Yeah,
there.
I just went for it. Okay?
But that's okay. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking that
But if they ever
eventually-
make a vegetarian one,
We're in.
we'll bring it in.
We'll bring that one in. Well, it makes me think of like luxury tax to take care of the car industry here in Australia, which
Oh,
we
don't give me,
have
that's
anymore.
another one on that.
I
I'll
know.
save that for another time.
Okay, I'm sorry, everyone.
Right.
We'll move on. Okay, so now let's go to in 1936. So same year, moving on to the 30s.
Mhm.
Bob's Big Boy in SoCal. It
Yes.
started.
Famous for the little statue that sit outside and they were, how many would have been stolen from whatever.
That's exactly
Yeah.
with the dippity-doo hairdo.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was the first one. The gentleman, Mr. I think it's Weir, who started it, was the first one. He sliced the bun into 3 slices, so kind of like the Big Mac.
Big Mac, yeah.
But it was prior to that. He did that. So they started with, I think it was like 6 restaurants, and they're still original in Southern California. I think Toluca Lake was one of them.
Yeah.
And
I passed by plenty of them when I lived in, even when we go to visit over there. I never been in one.
No, I haven't either. And Brenda and I, when we were in LA and stuff, we just can't get over the hair on the dude. It's like Randy's Donuts with the big giant donut. There's some things you have to go past. So, really, McDonald's, we think they started the drive-through, but they didn't. We think they started the double-decker hamburger, but yet they didn't.
Nope.
So we'll get to that in a bit. And In-N-Out.
Another famous Californian.
Yes, this is such a
got,
nice show.
Got one right over here. Yeah.
So that was 1948. That was established.
Mhm.
So that is, as you know, we have a little In-N-Out sticker on the door at work.
Yep.
And people keep going, can you get them here?
You
Like,
can't.
no, we can't. I'm sorry.
I can't understand why they do that, like drop-in store. Like they'll open it for a day.
I know. And how come I never hear about it till it's already gone?
I think it's only because like the some of the VPs or whatever need a free trip to Australia. So,
Well, that's right. And maybe some of the staff need a fix yes, I get that. Now, a difference with that, it's not a franchise. It's never been franchised. It's a family business.
Yep.
And they owned each restaurant and the land the restaurant was on. So this is why it's not as big. So McDonald's, which we'll talk about in a second, has like a bajillion restaurants everywhere.
Mhm.
In-N-Out is only in one part of the country. And
they are expanding.
They are expanding,
now,
but they will.
Because the daughter runs it now.
That's right. And the company, they will not
granddaughter.
have any frozen products. So you have to be able to drive fresh what's coming to the restaurant every day. So all the food is sort of fresh and local. So actually their expansion, they had 5 stores in 10 years and 50 stores in 40 years. So much different plan than McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King. They also became pretty famous. I think social media made them kind of be people were aware of it all over.
All the talk show hosts like Jay Leno, when he was doing it, he was just like such a big fan of it.
Yeah.
And like anybody was coming over, from the East Coast and never been there, that's the first place he always took them to.
And when you saw people getting on planes with In-N-Out burgers in their hand, and the secret menu is what would get on the social media that happens. So you can get animal style fries, which is their sauce, which is sort of like Thousand Island, that with grilled onions and all that on it, or you have that on your burger.
And you know what it is also? It's simplicity. It's a very simple menu.
Yes.
You don't have 48 different things.
No.
And sort of like with White Castles also. You have burgers, and they'll make a double or a triple now, but you could have a cheeseburger or a plain burger or a fillet of fish or surf and turf when they mix the two together.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And with talking about McDonald's not starting the drive-through, so In-N-Out actually had the first 2-way speaker system. So when you can't understand each other most of the time, that's their fault.
Hey, dude, what was that, dude?
I said
Number
I
one.
wanted fries. uh, and the most senior person in the store. So working in the store, they really want their people to be full-time employees. So you'll see an older work crew in there because this is their career.
Yes.
And the most senior person in there is the person that flips the burgers. That's who you want to be.
He's the quality control person.
That is exactly right. They cut their own fries every day.
Yep.
They slice all of the produce, so onions and lettuce. And they only use like the crispy bit of the lettuce, so that bit goes. You can tell I know a lot about it because it's right across from my mom's house. And we do manage to go out there. And you've seen that. The drive-through line can be so long.
Well, you know what they do now. So as you're on the line, you have another person that with a little radio control thing runs out, takes your order before you even get to the counter. So just to get them prepared. So as you get there, everything is, they know what they're making.
That's
they make
exactly
everything
right.
Fresh, yeah.
And you couldn't even get a shake there. I think it was 20 years after they opened. It was just drinks and burgers. You can get a grilled cheese if you want, which is just the bun and cheese.
Then they came up with the no carbo or whatever one, where you don't get the bread, you just get it wrapped in lettuce.
That's the protein style.
Yeah. So that does happen to the lettuce that they were going to throw. The other part of it that they're going to throw away.
Very good point. I didn't think about that. So that's part of the secret menu as well. And so Lindsay, she is the granddaughter, and she's 35 years old, and she's worth
$1.3 billion.
God bless her. I mean, it makes up for how they spelled her name.
Yeah.
Lynsi. Lindsay. All right. So now there's also Five Guys, which we both like their fries better, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, I like their fries. They give you too much of them also.
Yeah.
Okay. The burgers are, I can take them or leave them. I mean, they're good.
They're very similar to In-N-Out. It's they started in Virginia.
A bit greasier.
Yeah, I think so too. And I like the mushrooms I can get on them, and I like the grilled onions, which you can get if you ask for. But if you look at the menus and even the colors and how it's set up, they are very similar to each other. So Five Guys has sort of jumped across the country where they were very close to DC. And they made it a little bit of a mess, not a mess, but they wouldn't deliver to the Pentagon. The Pentagon called up and said, "Can you bring us like 100 burgers?" They go, "We don't deliver. We don't care who it's for. Come get it.
Come by and get it."
And so there's a great picture of President Obama sitting there with his shirt sleeves rolled up in line looking at the menu. So he had to go in himself. And they only use peanut oil. So that's the difference with their fries, evidently. So you can get a hotter fry from the peanut oil, but I suppose you got to be careful if you are.
You have to put warning labels on it.
That's right.
These fries might be hot.
Well, and the Five Guys are the dad and the four sons, and he was told.
Oh, that's
no
three
Fred
sons.
McMurray. He wasn't there. They were told start a business or go to college. So here we are with Five Guys.
Okay, and then in the late '80s, Squeeze is.
Now, you know Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
Right.
That's his.
No, it's not, but he kind of brought it to light. There's this little tiny 12-stool small restaurant in Sacramento called the Squeeze Inn. And they started making these burgers that have a cheese skirt. All right. So you fry a burger. So it's a third of a pound or a quarter of a pound. And you put the same amount of cheese over the top.
Right.
And it spreads out. And then what they do, similar to White Castle, they throw some ice around it and put a lid on it, and it steams everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's sort of like crunchy cheese, and then
the crunchy cheese sounds good.
The whole thing. And Guy Fieri had it on his drive-ins, and I forgot the rest of the name.
There
of the
was
show.
also one place in the Midwest that they have this. It looks like the automat. Remember we talked about the automat?
Yes. Oh, yes.
But it's a steamer that's been around since like 1930s or something like that, and they cook all their burgers into this steamer. So they're very unique that way. But I don't remember the name of it, but they're like in Wisconsin or somewhere.
Well, I think I want to give that a go because Phil Jr. realized that he could ask for a steamed bun at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So you can do that there if you want now too. And so this burger ends up looking like Saturn. It's got like this ring around it.
The cheese ring.
Cheese ring. So that actually came to Stockton. So it's again a little bit local for me. But you'd have some stuff in New York that's
there's stuff. But I remember also when I went to California, everything was different.
Mm-hmm.
So you ever go to Tommy's, original Tommy's burgers?
I've heard of it, but I've never
Yeah.
been.
Pretty good. I mean, it's a runner-up to In-N-Out, but it's like what they're famous for is their chili burger.
Oh, yeah,
Double
that's a
chili
good.
burger. Really sloppy and good.
Yes, so you
Yeah.
just have to. It's a like what do they call squeezes a 5 napkin burger? That would be about that, right?
Yeah, and there's other ones that are around. I mean, there's Crystal Burger, which is in the Southern, which is a copy of White Castle.
Yep.
Okay, and there also used to be a White Tower. You know,
Oh,
also
I've heard of that.
another copy. You know, and then Whataburger. That's like listed in one of the top chains in America. Whataburger. I always thought that was owned by those guys with the two brothers that are actors. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they're the
It starts with a W.
Yeah, it does. Wahlbergs. The
Wahlbergs,
Wahlbergs.
yes. Okay, but they do like burgers with jalapeno and cheese.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I found out my step. Well, see, you get your local drive-ins too. Like Tracy was Coppercat,
Yeah.
and there's a place called I can't think of it. Mom will correct me next week. But they did an Ortega burger, so you get a
Si Ortega.
and that was Herman's favorite. So you grill an Ortega pepper, and then you just make a hamburger with it. So it's got a nice zing to it.
Now, when I was doing my research on burgers,
Yes,
I found one place called Clovers, Culvers.
Yes,
Clovers, not in Culver City, but they're up somewhere else. But their menu looked unbelievable. The stuff that they were putting on their menu looked just fantastic. So this is like I think one of my, when we ever will travel again, I'm gonna do a holiday of just hitting burger places.
Oh,
Yeah,
we did that.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever recovered. I don't think we've ever gone back to our original waistbands.
Yeah.
We shook hands and said, whatever we find, we're going to try.
Yeah. I know this is not on our schedule, but speaking about doing a burger holiday.
Yes.
You can do a burger holiday just by going to unique McDonald's in America.
Oh, tell me.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes.
Okay. So you could go to, if you start off in Chicago, go down Route 66 out of there, right? So you could go to the futuristic McDonald's. So it's all done in
Is it like George Jetson?
Yeah. Okay. Now, in New York City, they have the musical. So they have a grand piano.
Oh my gosh.
In it. So for Broadway and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if people play it. Sedona, Arizona.
Yes.
Is the turquoise one. So even the arches are done in turquoise.
So
they get a special permit for doing that, right? And then in Georgia, Savannah,
yes,
they have the green one. So everything is like with solar and all in the green thing. And then these are the two you got to go to.
Okay.
All right. So knowing that you're uppity now,
I'm not uppity.
But in Hyde Park, New York, Hyde Park is like lots
fancy.
Of money, right?
Yes.
They have what they call the Landmark.
Right.
So they bought this property to put a McDonald's on. And then people said, no, you're not building that. There was a Georgia mansion on the property built in 1795, and they kept it and they converted it into a McDonald's. So from the outside, it looks just like just like it always has.
Oh,
and it's a mansion, but inside it's a McDonald's.
I love that.
Okay. And there's another one in Freeport, Maine.
Yeah.
Okay. With a Greek revision, or whatever they call Greek style mansion built in 1850 called and that's the mansion one. So you got the Landmark and the mansion to go to.
So that's you've made your way down and around.
Yeah. And then for the kiddies, you go to Dallas.
Yes.
Okay. And the Happy Meal. So they have a whole restaurant that the outside looks like a box that they make a Happy Meal in.
I love that.
How good is that, And then going back to California, the oldest one is still in existence, has a little bit of a museum inside of it also.
Is that San Bernardino?
No. Downey.
Okay.
Downey has the oldest one built in 1953. So everything is still the same on the outside.
That would be cool to go to.
And in Barstow. Now, I've been to this one in Barstow.
Have you?
Yeah,
yes.
When you travel from LA to Vegas.
Yes.
You always stop in Barstow. The one, it looks like a train station. And they have train cars and everything there. So it's the train one.
How cool. They used to be so
and there's
fun.
many more. Yeah.
Yeah, because they each owner, I suppose, or each area used to be able to take license. Because I remember some of the place areas used to be like a train car, or it used to be like a ship, and it would be different where you went.
It's also another one in Manhattan that's all blacked out.
Oh wow.
It's like it's in like the theater district, but it's like
It's like
you got to
going.
look for it. Like, oh, that's a McDonald's. Wow.
It's like a speakeasy McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So at least that's nice that they still have, bring creativity to their
yeah,
buildings
I like
instead of
that.
everything cookie cut.
Well, and that's what it is here because it's
Yes.
all
It all looks the same.
McCafes.
Yeah.
Which my stepdad hates McDonald's. You can't convince him. My mother prefers it here because she says it still tastes good. But she said it doesn't taste the same.
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to taste the same.
Does, yeah.
And I hit McDonald's
How does
in
that
Japan.
work now? So your stepfather doesn't like McDonald's.
No.
And your mother doesn't like Walmart.
No, and my stepfather.
Oh, they both don't like
They
Walmart.
both don't like Walmart. So if I go home, the car's still rolling. If I get out to go to it, they don't want to. They don't want to be in the car park. Yes, but Herman does love. Now talking about some other restaurants that have come through. Jack and we all like Jack in the Box, but Carl's Jr. He's a Carl's Jr. fan, which we're lucky enough to have here. But do you know Carl's Jr. can heal a broken heart?
Oh, really?
Really, because Zaina, my bestie, when she was ever dumped or
she went to calls.
Yeah, so I'd pick her up.
Maybe because the guy owned it. Remember the guy who used to do the advertising? Maybe he was like a real dad.
She would call me, and I was like, and she's crying. I'm like, I'll come get you. And we go through the drive-thru, and it was a bacon double Western cheeseburger. Fix anything. And luckily enough, we've been able to have it here. And there's also Jack in the Box, which I like their tacos more than their burgers myself.
And then there's Wendy's Hot and Juicy.
Yes, and they were square burgers as well.
And Hardee's.
Oh, yes.
Hardee's got bought out. I think Hardee's and Jack in the Box are like the same now.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And
hurry on down to Hardee's. Hardee's, yeah, possibly. And that jacket, if you go over the ditch here and go to New Zealand, okay, they have Wendy's. Wendy's is over in New Zealand.
Oh, well, I will have to take a tour of that as well. And so, do they have Burger King or Hungry Jack's?
I think it's Burger King over there.
Yeah. So in Australia we've had Hungry Jack's, which is like Burger King, but
it is Burger King.
It is
just
Burger
that
King.
They couldn't get the name at the time because somebody else had that name. And then when they got it, they changed a few of them, and then they went back to because nobody recognized it.
I like, they used to have the crayons there as well.
All right, so what makes a good burger?
I like a bit of crunch, right? So I want some fresh produce in there.
Yeah, because you're an In-N-Out girl.
Well, yes, but
I'm not going to go any further with that.
Thank you, Phil.
Hey, Brendan's not listening.
Did you take? Does your cough medicine have codeine in it? Jeez. I like that. I'd like a I don't like a big giant fat burger. I want it to be cooked.
Messy.
Yeah, and I want it cooked all the way through.
Yeah, but sometimes, now they do that, And I remember even when they had the E. coli thing with Jack in the Box in America, right away, McDonald's went on and said, hey, we cook our things always to this temperature to prevent that from happening.
They have had the best back and forth for my whole life. Commercials hanging it on each other. And now their Twitter accounts make fun of each other, which is fantastic. I think, what kind of bun?
Depends on the burger. I mean, I go back to having a bar that we used to go to called Dingbats.
Right? Yes.
In Bay Ridge. And they had this guy, this big, juicy guy. And in the back, they had like this open flame thing that he cooked the burgers on.
Yeah.
Right. And he just like grabbed it out of its claw of his hand, plopped this thing on there and then put it onto an English muffin.
Oh.
But I mean, maybe it was just the atmosphere or the alcohol. It was like one of the tastiest burgers.
It hit the spot.
Yeah. But then you get to some of them, like you get like the steamed buns.
Yeah.
It all depends, I guess, on what's in the burger or, that makes it that way. So I think the steamed buns are more tasty when you have less ingredients.
Yes, I agree with that.
And then you need a more solid type, sturdier type, holder, so to speak.
Yeah.
When you got like a big, like if you go to Carl's Jr.'s, they make some big stacky ones and stuff. And the worst thing to do is that you start biting and then it disintegrates.
Yeah. And you can't eat a Carl's Jr. burger or Hungry Jack's burger in the car. Because it's just all over the front of you.
Yeah, next thing you know, this was clean now. I got to get the shout to get that oil stain out. Yeah.
Well, I've gone back, I've kind of now jumped into brioche buns.
Yeah.
because that's trendy here. Because all the fancy, because it's funny, fancy places here started serving.
Yeah.
It was a thing. The hipsters ruled, and there we got burgers again. So I've kind of gone brioche rather than the
But
good
that's
old
a soft bun.
soft bun. I used to have like the Wonder ones with sesame seeds on it.
Yeah.
Actually, going back to Eddie Murphy, because remember he's like, I want to go to McDonald's. It's the same thing with the ice cream, and his mother's like, we're not going to McDonald's. We've got food here. So he goes, I got a welfare burger. So it was like Wonder Bread. He goes, and it's like the burger's just dripping through the white bread. It was awful. So you try not to do that. Try to get a bun of some sort.
Yeah. And then we're going to go on to what's not a burger, which is like meatloaf.
Yeah, and let's not say too much about the Australian burger, but people here do tend to add fillers to it. Like the burger recipes were like add an egg.
Well, that's a home style burger.
Yeah, it's like a risol. It's not a burger.
Yeah.
It's not at all. You want salt and pepper.
Yeah, and no beetroot. Thank you.
No. Pineapple egg?
No.
Ugh.
How could you put egg on it?
Well, they put egg on pizza too.
No comment. Okay. I'm going to call up the Italian American Civil Rights League about that one.
Oh, and what about cheese?
Cheese? Yeah, I still like just the American cheese. I mean, the other cheeses. Now, if you do a mushroom burger, then Swiss.
Or I like blue cheese.
I don't like blue cheese.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it has to be a mushroom burger. I like blue cheese with mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
It has it's in caramelized onions because that
Munster cheese be good.
Ooh,
you can't find Munster cheese.
No, you can't. Gouda.
Gouda, yeah, but straight American. Cheese.
Yeah, you want melty cheese on your burger.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
Yep. So then we got Sloppy Joe's. That's a loose meat sandwich.
I hate that phrase, but it's so good. I want a loose meat sandwich, thank you.
From Sioux City, Iowa.
So that's
They are famous for something.
And their drinks. Don't worry, we've got their drinks too.
Sioux City,
but that is sort of ground beef. Inside it can be like
tomato sauce.
Yeah, or a barbecue sauce sometimes, and slopped on a bun, and it all comes out the other side when you take a bite, which is always pleasant.
And then we got the forever hamburger helper, which now is only called helper. They skip the hamburger.
They don't want to offend the rest of the meats that you can use it with.
Well, if you want to call it meats, if you want to.
But that's really popular. Like we get the chili mac one and the taco one, so we get those at work.
Yeah.
And that can stretch a meal, like can stretch a little bit of
what
hamburger.
The whole thing was. Yep. So they had two goes at it.
Yes.
So the first go was doing like an Asian version, a teriyaki burger, and another one like I don't know, whatever. Anyway, but you had to cook the noodles or whatever separately from the other bit, and that was too hard. That failed. So then they started in 1971. They went nationwide with the new product, but in 1970 they did it just on the West Coast. So it came out on the West Coast first, and they did that as a trial with the 5 flavors that they came out with, and that was a success. And the rest is like history,
It is.
But and then they graduated to tuna helper.
I remember tuna helper. Right?
And then they had pork helper.
Don't remember that.
I don't remember that. Asian helper.
Yes, I kind of remember that.
And then they had fruit helper.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, that should come out again now because that'd be popular. Okay, but the 5 original flavors, are beef noodle.
Yes, I would like that.
Okay? Potato stroganoff, which has always been like the mainstay. That was like always the biggest seller. Hash, there's like hash brown potatoes. And now rice oriental. They can't call it no more.
No,
so that'd be rice.
Asian rice.
Asian rice. Yeah.
Yes.
And chili tomato.
So that'd be like chili mac. That would have like the the macaroni in it.
And then in the first year they came out with it, over 27% of the population in America bought it.
Well,
that's huge.
That is. And if you can so instead of getting a pound of ground beef, if you could do it with like a half a pound.
Well, that was the whole thing. It came out like during the recession and all that. And, one box that cost you probably at the time like 79 cents. 1 pound of beef.
Yep.
You feed 5 people.
That's right.
Well, not 5 hungry people.
No, but have some salad with that if you can get some of that.
So who's going to eat salad with?
My mother made salad every night. Don't make fun. So it's a California thing.
Yeah.
That ground beef we kind of fall back on. And the recipes, you get more and more of them when times are not as good. Yeah. And again, you can always count on it to help you out.
Now we go back to Australia.
Yes.
Can I have can I have a burger with a lot of what?
A lot of extra
You want salt and
crap.
pepper on that? Yeah. What do you mean? Which one is it? Come on, right? Bring it with the lot.
And shredded, like it's got shredded lettuce, and it's got an egg, and it's got beetroot, and it's got pineapple.
Yeah, and then they put like tomato relish or something, which is
like chutney,
oh,
it's crap.
God.
And then a lot of those burger joints have like the fillers in the burger because you're like, that's not 100% beef. Like, there's no way I can taste breadcrumbs in that.
Yeah, where's the beef? Yeah.
Yeah. So, although sometimes, and it's not when I want a real burger, sometimes I do want a fish and chip shop burger. I'm usually hungover or really tired. But I want it for that. It's because it's not a hamburger. If I want a hamburger, I'll go somewhere else. I like taking, like Dolores, when she came here, I like getting her one of those with the lot going, and this is what we call a hamburger.
And it's also, especially shops in Australia, some of them do make really great hamburgers. And the Herald Sun always comes out with the top 10 burgers of Melbourne, and they're usually always, right up there. There's a bunch of them that are really tasty, including, Fat Bob's across the street from us.
Yeah, they have a good burger. Yeah. We've had a couple of. There's a place called Patty Smith's, which is a chain, but it's got good burgers.
I don't like people that take other people's names.
I'm sure there's more than one Patty Smith, Phil. I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's meat patty. It's like a patty. It's like a play on words. He's not in a good mood. He's not in a good mood. That's just it. So, right. We'll move on.
She gets nothing.
How does Jeanette put up with you? I want to know. I knew. I just poked the bear. This is very funny. Okay.
Celebrities
who love a good burger. There's a few funny stories. Gordon Ramsay thought he'd give In-N-Out a try. He was in LA. So he was in the drive-thru. And it was, oh no, did he go in first? He went in first.
And they told him to go back out.
Had a double.
Yeah.
Liked it so much he got in his car and went through the drive-thru to get another one. And I think you'll appreciate this. Anthony Bourdain, who's one of my favorite chefs and travelers, he made this joke because there's a picture of him on his Instagram that he had, and he's eating a double. And he said, I could be sitting with naked women in a spa with the Rolling Stones, smoking a bong, and I wouldn't get as many likes as I did me eating an In-N-Out burger on my own. And Julia Child, who also liked a Costco hot dog. She loved a Costco hot dog.
Price Club in those days.
Well,
since he passed away before Costco.
No, she kind of managed, but so it's reported that she used to be such a fan, she carried a list of store locations of In-N-Out with her, and even sent an assistant out on a burger run when she was in the hospital.
Oh, here's a gripe. Okay, the Costco hot dogs here in Australia.
Yes,
when they first came out here,
they were right, weren't they? They were correct.
Yep, because they were bringing them in from the U.S.
Yes.
Whatever, frozen.
Yes.
I think you could even buy them frozen.
Yes, you could.
I don't know if they're still in the freezer,
no.
But the hot dogs they serve here, no, they're not what they're supposed to be. Mr. Costco, Mr. Noonan. Okay, if you're listening to this, he's in charge of Costco Australia.
Yes, right, we'll tell him to fix their hot dogs.
Fix your hot dogs and get back to where we started from, what we know as a good Costco hot dog.
Okay.
And if you want to raise it 20 cents more,
fine, we'll pay it. Yep. And could you please keep your onion dispensers full? That's my gripe.
I don't need raw onions. No.
I love onions. I have to have a little bit of everything, but I want the onions, and it's never freaking full. Because people let 4-year-olds just roll the thing.
But I don't think they're even out there. They don't do them out there because of COVID now.
I might have had a hot dog in recent days.
Oh yeah, they put them back out.
Yes, they did.
Because they took all the tables out and everything.
I know, which is great because now I can get my trolley out.
Yeah.
I just stand there.
But they didn't have enough tables, at least in the one in Moorabbin.
No, because everyone parked their big carts there. You couldn't get through.
See, it was nice in California. Most of all the restaurants are outside.
Well, and Julia Child used to go to the Santa Barbara one.
Oh.
That was her favorite. Yeah. And now...
I know where that one is.
Do you?
Well, because I think there's only one in Santa Barbara.
Probably.
That's right by the ice rink in Santa Barbara. We were there.
I wasn't, but I bought a sweatshirt there once. A friend had bought it for me. It was an argument, but we digress. Now, so I'm going to talk, or do you want to go first about your how to make a White Castle?
Yeah, because you got like 40 different things that go into making a In-N-Out burger.
Yes,
okay, so White Castle, what you got to do is basically get chopped meat, inexpensive chopped meat, make it into like a little square or a round. Make
Right.
it round. Just flatten it out to probably about in the old school 1/4 inch.
Yes.
And then get something to make like the little holes in it.
Okay. Well, you
Okay.
can use your finger, couldn't you?
Yeah, you can use frame. Just have little holes.
Yep.
Put on some wax paper or whatever, or
Yeah,
baking sheet.
paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then freeze it.
Right. Oh, it has to be frozen.
Yeah. Then get a cast iron griddle or
Mhm.
something, or even outside on your barbecue.
Yep.
Get dehydrated onions.
Okay.
Okay. Put them in a bowl, very wet.
Yep.
Okay. Let it soak until it
Yep.
saturates everything. Okay. And then as your grill is hot, you get a ladle. You ladle on your onions and spread it out, and then you put your hamburgers on top of that, and then buy like little dinner rolls.
Yeah.
You might have to cut a bit of it out the middle
Yeah,
because
so they're
that's the
not
only thing
too
that,
thick. Yeah.
and then put those on top of the burgers. You don't have to flip them, and just wait about 2 minutes, and they're done.
When we make In-N-Out burgers, first of all, we have good friends that come over, and you never know how many Andrew's going to have, so you have to buy some extra.
Yep.
We get sort of. Oh, you want to have fat in the mince or in the ground beef, so we usually get the organic. So we get that. So you make one of the tricks with an In-N-Out burger is that you want the patty size after it's cooked to be the same size as the bun.
Yep.
So you kind of make them a little bit larger than the bun because they shrink. So you flatten them out. You make kind of golf ball size, maybe more.
Yeah, they're not very thick.
No, so you want to flatten them out. Same thing, about 1/4 inch, salt and pepper on it, and then we put it between wax paper and stack it up. So we'll get a brioche bun. I cut those in half, and they're toasted to the side. We do toasted. So there's a certain order that you need to do it. You're going to need some tomatoes. You're going to need some iceberg lettuce, and the iceberg lettuce, you really only want the middle bit. So you're going to need a couple of heads of that. And American cheese. The mildest onion you can find. I think in California they use the sweet Vidalia, but I'll use a red onion because it's raw onion.
White onion.
Yeah, well, because sometimes it's too bitey.
Oh, okay.
But depending, you can use white. So you have to stack them a certain way. So first you put, you can use Thousand Island dressing. There's many recipes for making their own sauce, but it's Thousand Island basically. So what you do is you put the first patties down. So if you're doing a double, 2 patties, and then it's 1 minute 30 seconds. You flip them, and then you put the cheese on it while they're cooking. The next 1 minute 30.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom bun has the Thousand Island already on it.
Yep.
You pop. You're going to put the sliced tomato, so a whole slice of tomato, not thin but not too thick. Iceberg lettuce, the white crunchy bit. Then the first beef patty with the cheese on it, then a whole ring of onion. So like slice the middle out of an onion, put it there. Then the next patty, and then the bun. Yep. So all the cold stuff's at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And then it just
then
has
you need that
crunch.
special wrapper to go around it. Yeah.
Well, yes, we could do that if we wanted to do really fancy. But usually the funny thing is when you're the one cooking them, everyone's had their seconds and thirds, and you go, "Can I just have one?"
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the best way to do it.
Okay, so let's go on to Nat Nosh. Wednesday, May 27 is National Grape Popsicle Day. I never had a grape popsicle.
No, I remember seeing them in the packet, in the multi-pack, and I like grape, but I don't like them. I went for cherry.
Yeah. Okay. So
it doesn't need its own day. How about Popsicle Day?
Does Popsicle Day be better?
Yeah,
like
that's
you could
exactly
have a creamsicle.
Right. That's right.
Okay. And then on Thursday, May 28th, National Brisket Day.
No, that's a good day.
And then also National Hamburger Day.
Oh, well, yes. Now, Brisket Day, you can have like slow cooked brisket, or you can have your barbecued brisket.
I think it's the most overrated piece of meat there is.
Well,
9 out of 10 times it tastes awful.
Yeah,
it's overcooked, it's dry, it's this, it's that,
Can I give you a brisket recipe in the slow cooker?
No.
Come on.
No.
It's
I'm
really
not doing
nice.
brisket.
Oh.
Gave up on brisket.
Well, I'll cook it for you once, and you might like it. Well, it's like pot roast.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Yeah. Like I had it in Kansas City. It was done like a pot roast, and it was absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's not my favorite barbecued meat. I like it slow cooked.
Yeah. And then on the 19th, you can say this one because it's French.
Oh, coq au vin day.
Coq au vin.
So
what is coq? That's chicken.
It's chicken and wine.
And wine.
And it's lovely. It's a nice casserole. So, which is funny because for us it's perfect because we're getting into winter.
Yeah.
But in the northern hemisphere, it's heating up.
Well, that's because the next day on the May 30th is National Mint Julep Day. That has to do with the races, right?
That does. It started in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And it's we've got a cocktail, which is good. And they have special mint julep cups too. I know. I don't need to buy any more extra things. I've got too much stuff.
And then on the 31st is National Macaroon Day.
So the macaroons with the coconut, not with the egg and almonds. So
not,
they were like
the
what we
French
grew up with. No, not the French
the Jewish
ones.
style.
The Jewish style.
Yes. Yes. But we used to have all that, in Brooklyn, in Passover. But that was a big sweet treat.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
I made them
then with the chocolate on too. Ooh.
Oh yeah, dip or drizzled.
I don't know if you have it with the chocolate's kosher or not, but either way, it's good.
I made the mistake of ordering one the other day when I went out with my friend for my birthday coffee, and I think it'd been sitting in the. It's been sitting there too long, and I had to dip it. But you should never have to do this. You should just be unctuous.
It should be really soft.
Yeah.
And National Hazelnut Day on Monday.
Hazelnut Cake Day. You missed a very important word.
Yeah.
Cake.
Cake.
I am not the biggest fan of hazelnuts.
Neither am I.
Yeah, it's kind of.
That's why I'm.
Didn't they used to call them
filberts?
Or Spanish peanuts was the other thing.
Oh, I used to call them filberts.
And I didn't like them then. No, I didn't like them.
And then on June the 2nd is National Rocky Road Ice Cream Day.
One of my favorite flavors because you've got Mom got that poor kid fired as we talked about last week. Because you have the nice marshmallows that come out of it. It is beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so that does it for that. Now, before we go into what next week's show is, Barbara, you want to give a quick rundown to tell everybody where we are, how to get in touch?
Sure.
Let's go.
Okay, so we are at 73 Cochrane's Road, Moorabbin, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday, 11 to 5.
Yep. And don't be afraid, but if you do come in and ask for us, we'll come out and say hello.
Because we love doing that, and we meet some lovely people doing that. And we've got some good candy in at the moment.
Oh yeah, we loaded up on candy.
Oh yeah, so do yourself.
Call your dentist and come on in.
That's right. And if you want to get a hold of us, you can do that at podcast@usafoods.com.au. Please subscribe. Please share this with people you think that might like it. I'm sure there's hamburger fans out there that need to hear this.
There's a lot of hamburger
fans. There is,
yeah.
absolutely.
And next week going to be a lot more fans because it's donuts.
Oh,
we're going to talk about donuts.
My goodness.
Donuts.
Donuts are the best.
All right. So we're going to sign off.
We're going to sign off. Oh, we forgot our feedback.
Feedback. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back. Okay, Barbara, start with the feedback. So, who do we got today?
Right. Okay. So, Leslie, after the chocolate show, her statement was not how we did, not how the show was, not it was interesting. She said, quote, "Something's wrong with someone who doesn't like chocolate milk." And also, she can't stand Cadbury's. Which I relate to.
It's a different type of chocolate. Cadbury's are nice. I like Cadbury's. I think they make it halfway decent chocolate.
I like it. And we heard from Liz J.
Mm-hmm.
There's an excellent book about chocolate in the US, and I think Europe gets a mention too. It's called The Emperors of Chocolate Inside the Secret World of Hershey and Mars by Joel Glenn Brenner.
Wow.
And she said the one thing she missed when she came to Australia was being able to get milk at McDonald's. I see chocolate milk, hot and cold, is they're back at the US McDonald's as well. Okay. Also, my mom, she enjoyed the chocolate show because she enjoys chocolate, but she wanted to ask maybe you knew why there's no Mars bars in the US.
There's no Mars bars in the US?
The Mars bars, she said. So I sent her Australian Mars bars, which are like Milky Ways, aren't they?
Yeah. But there should be still Mars bars, I think.
That's what I would think.
Maybe she needs to go to CVS.
Yeah. But she only goes to fancy shops, Phil.
Well, CVS is a drugstore.
Yeah, I know. But she only goes to fancy. She'll go to Alpine Drug.
Oh, okay.
So Phil doesn't know, but she does like when you bite into an American Milky Way, and there's like a strip of caramel that comes out. She enjoys that. But I do have to send home, anytime someone comes to visit, I send home bags of mini Mars bars for her to go because they're a bit different. And, There's this exciting thing. Ooh, excuse me, Mr. Carter. There is we talked about oddball combos last week. There is a beer oddball combo.
Oh, yeah.
Beer and Ben and Jerry's. So it is chocolate chip cookie dough beer. So it's a nitro beer.
Yeah.
Looks stouty, and it has lactose in it and chocolatey sort of flavors.
Why not?
So it looks like a Guinness. So how they have that special...
Oh, the little tablet in it.
So it does the same thing.
Yeah.
So a widget, we're told. So I think we might head down to Dan Murphy's later and pick one up. Yeah.
Also see if they have from Bad Shepherd. He makes a peanut butter ale.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I need that. I like that. I don't know how you can make beer weird, but it does taste quite good.
We'll have to do a section on alcohol when he says.
Yeah.
Because alcohol's food.
It is. It's got, the beer, it has wheat in it. Yep. And hops.
There you go. All right. So that's it. Sign off?
Sign off.
Okay. So we're back to where we started from. So when we were signing off before, just for all our listeners, just disregard that.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
This is the official sign off now.
This is Sunday midday, not enough coffee in us. That's what's happening.
So Mr. Rogers is today.
Yes. It's such a beautiful one.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so you go ahead and say it.
I'll be back when the day is new, and I'll have more ideas for you. And you'll have things you want to talk about. I will too.
He's so gentle and beautiful.
Oh, Mr. Rogers.
Have a lovely week, everybody.
Okay, see you next week.
See ya.
Once you find a love like mine, you know that love is true.
I used to love that when Eddie Murphy did Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Robinson's...
Who's that?
Doesn't he go on to talk about some big TV that he's got?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was the refresh version.
Well, when Eddie Murphy went back like
Who's
this
that?
year.
This is how we used to do it in our neighborhood.
Our neighborhood's now gentrified.